Hello, monthly supporters. I am still here in cozy Germany, have only a couple days left on contract, and I wanted to give you, as promised, the bonus Circus content video. It has been a little bit late in coming out because I decided that I wanted to get some extra footage of the show to kind of lay over this as I talk about it so that, you can see a little bit more of the show, but it's a bit of a process. So let's just jump right in. Here are some clips of the show, and I'm just going to talk about some random circus stuff. So the first thing that I wanted to mention was that there was a trend in some of the comments on the video of people expressing their surprise that they didn't realize that we were independent contractors. I'm not entirely sure how people think that this works. Maybe they think that we are, with a main business or corporation. Maybe everyone is kind of looking at the Cirque du Soleil model, actually, where you work for Cirque and you're employed by them and exclusively them for 2-year chunks of your life. That is not what we are at all. So we are absolutely independent contractors. Everything I do, I am self-employed, basically. I actually posted this funny graphic on my Instagram story the other day, which it's not funny until you look at the color codes and you realize that none of the colors from the legend match up with the colors from the chart, and then you can kind of infer what they're trying to say about being self-employed, and it's kind of funny. So I posted this, and I had a couple people respond and say, wait, what are you doing? That's self-employed. And it had to make me giggle because I'm literally only self-employed. I employ myself like I am an independent contractor in the circus, and then I'm the only person running the YouTube channel. So I've never had anything other than this, apart from, when I was in college and working at the smoothie shop and the golf course and things like that. So yeah, we are absolutely the line of work that we're doing, and circus in general is completely runs on independent contractors. There are, as I've said, some exceptions, like if you are working for Cirque du Soleil, then you're no longer an independent contractor, then you are a salaried employee, but that's pretty exceptional. Also, when I was working in Copenhagen with Valmans, there I was also salaried because the way that their system works, I was literally not allowed to be an independent contractor. But for the most part, for my entire career, I have been independent, and that is kind of interesting in terms of what that means is, obviously it is a lot of work, but it does also mean that I am constantly changing casts. I'm working with new people. So if you're working with Cirque du Soleil, you're for at least for 2 years at a time, you're basically always working with the same people. Now, obviously, there is some turnover. People get injured, and occasionally there's some turnover, but for the most part, you're always working with the same people. Wow. That is not the case for us. Every contract basically brings new people, which I think is fantastic, and it's actually one of the main reasons why I love this job. One of the reasons why I actually have no interest in really working for Cirque du Soleil other than their special events division. I love doing special events for Cirque. That's a whole different ballgame. But in terms of a long 2-year contract with the same show, there are many reasons I have no interest in working for Cirque du Soleil on that type of contract, and one of them is that I actually enjoy the variety of shaking it up and doing new shows and having new challenges and meeting new castmates. And one of the big benefits of that is that you get to meet a ton of people from all over the world. And it means that we have a massive network of friends spread out all over the globe that, it has this kind of fun phenomena where you're in really, really close contact with the same people for a month or 2 months or 6 months at a time, whether you're creating a new show with them or you're just like seeing them every day in and out for the show. You get really close with your castmates, usually, if it's a good cast. And then you go off and everyone disperses and does different contracts, and you might not see those people again for 3, 4, 5 years, but it's totally normal that the next time you are in the same city as them, even if you haven't really talked much since you've seen them, you send them a message and you say, oh my gosh, hey, look, I see that you're performing in this show in Munich. I'm going to be in Munich in a week. Do you want to meet up? Do you want to get coffee? Can I come see your show? It's totally normal. It's not viewed as I don't know, I feel like I see some posts in the, let's say, the real world or the normal world where that's considered rude. That is completely normal for us with our lifestyle. We won't see somebody for years at a time. You might exchange some messages on social media. I will say that like Instagram has made it a lot easier to keep up and follow along with what people are doing, but there are a fair few artists that just like me aren't really active on social media. Like we prefer to be doing things in the real world, and we're not great at keeping up with our social media personas or profiles. And so you might not literally have exchanged only a couple messages with people in the past 2-3 years, and then all of a sudden you'll get a message and they'll be like, hey, I'm coming to your city in a couple months, like let's get together. And it's great, and you just kind of pick up where you were, you touch base, maybe you have coffee, maybe you see a show together, maybe you hang out for a weekend, it really depends. And then again, you just might not see them for weeks and months at a time. So that is kind of an interesting aspect, but it's again one of the things I absolutely love about our job. So here we're working with, I forget exactly how many nationalities we're working with here, but we've got a lot of different people from all over the world, and that means that you get to like learn a lot of stuff about people from other cultures, other traditions, other languages. It's not unusual for people in our line of work to speak at least 4 languages. That's not always the case, but it is pretty common, and it does definitely give me an interesting perspective on people who are particularly linguistically pedantic on YouTube because, and I have like a whole video coming up in the works about this actually that I've been like reflecting on, especially as I've been here, because it's maybe the first time that I've done a really long international contract where people don't speak English since having a sizable YouTube presence, and it is a really fun perspective to see like the complete juxtaposition of people who are being the most pedantic about the stupidest things on YouTube in terms of like, oh, you pronounced this word incorrectly. And then I turn my head and I look over and I see people from 3 different languages trying to have a genuine conversation and using Google Translate and miming things and talking with their hands and trying every technique possible for the ultimate goal of just communication, because everybody is genuinely interested in what the other person has to say, and it doesn't matter if they're not speaking English properly, or like I've had several conversations with like me, a native English and French speaker, with a native German speaker, and the 2 of us are trying to communicate to the young girl who speaks Spanish, and both of us have very rusty Spanish, and we're like trying everything that we can, all these various techniques to have a conversation with her, and we're there for like 20 minutes, and I know that my grammar is completely wrong and that I am missing some vocabulary. and nobody cares. And it's so funny to just watch all of the effort that goes into communication with zero judgment, because we are all genuinely interested in just trying to communicate, to put on a show, to learn more about each other's lives. And then I look over at my YouTube's comment section and somebody is giving me crap because they think I pronounced a word slightly wrong. And I'm like, wow, you could not make it more apparent that you are not actually interested in genuine communication. You're just interested in feeling superior. So I've got a whole video in the works about that. Yeah, that's always another fun thing, is just learning about other cultures, improving your smattering of other languages, all that kind of stuff. So that's what's been going on here. I have 2 more days of shows here, 4 more shows, and then we are back home. And, well, actually, we're not back home. I'm going to stay with my parents for a little bit, pick up all the mail in my P.O. box, and then we're going back home. And yeah, I cannot wait for the new year to get started. I just filmed the next video for the main channel talking about some of the things we're going to be doing on the channel in 2025, and I am very excited about it. So I've actually kicked Phil out so I could record this, but he just texted me that he's on the way back and he would like me to start some coffee. So that's what I'm going to do. Going to get some coffee brewing, have some pastries from the bakery on the corner, and then go into the tent and do 2 more shows and finish up this, which is coming along swimmingly. It is the bow that I've been working on. It is inside out right now because I am joining it together, the 2 sides, but it's looking really sharp and colorful and cheerful, and I cannot wait to finish it. So on that note, I will leave you, and I will put up another post with some more fabric stuff coming, the fabric swap stuff, in a couple days, and then we're gonna get back to working on the house and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for your support. Let me know if you have, I don't know, questions, comments, all that kind of stuff, and I'll catch you otherwise in the next video on Friday. Bye!